Thank you, and welcome to Minister Heather Humphreys, who's here with us today and speaking to us on the Social Welfare Bill. Minister, I know your focus here, particularly for carers, as has been raised in terms of this amendment here. It's been absolutely crucial because particularly in rural areas, that it is crucial that we are seeing that it's family carers that are doing the load of the work here. It's very difficult to actually access carers in rural areas and for lots of different reasons. People based in city centres, of course, there's a little bit easier access. Maybe there's a higher, there's more people available to do the work. And in rural areas, it's just not the case. And so it falls to families to do this work, and it falls to family members to do this work. And Minister, I know that you've been looking here at the role of family carers, and this is literally what you've brought through. You're looking at how to manage families and women in particular who've been managing caring in the home, and to ensure that they get access to the contributory state pension as well. Minister, I know that the income disregards, that this will take place and be enacted from June of next year. And those income disregards are going to be very important as well in terms of the income threshold for carers allowance. You might wish to comment, I suppose, just on the access. As far as I'm aware, it is June of next year, but you might just comment on that. I know that the means test is something that you're looking at overall for carers, because we know how much carers contribute. To be able to keep a loved one at home, there is no price that can be paid for that. We see the grants that come through our local authorities, to make our homes more accessible and, to adapt the home to accommodate someone with a ramp into the house or disability access in showers and in bathrooms. And, so many families go through this. And what I have found in my own area of Roscommon, Galway, is that sometimes people aren't aware, families aren't aware of the supports that are available through the local authority to help keep people in their home. And I am very much an advocate for independent living for as long as possible for people in their own home. But part of this is part of what your remit under social protection is how we support family carers, because the role they play in areas where where you look at nursing homes and the lack of access to beds now, and people in hospitals where they cannot come out of hospital. So the importance of family carers, that means test for family carers, that income disregard. And I know that you're particularly looking at this group, and I know you've been doing this over the last number of years, but particularly at this group in terms of how we're going to ensure that that the carers means test is reasonable and will encourage and support family carers in the home, and again support women, and particularly around part-time access. I suppose some of my questions might be where a carer is working a certain number of hours per week and been able to access some of those supports. I had one woman, a single mother, that was in touch with me who had a full-time job working in a hospital on the lower end of the scale, and unfortunately was not able to access any sort of carer support, looking after her brother in the home. So, Minister, I suppose just how do we support those people, women, usually 30s, 40s, 50s, at home, working full-time, young family, and also trying to take care of a loved one? And that's really the situation that I see in my area.
Senator. Minister.
Thank you, and just to thank the senators for their comments. Now, regarding amendments 13 and 14, I speak to both of them together, but I don't propose accepting the amendments because the Pensions Commission concluded its detailed analysis of the state pension system in late 2020 and recommended that long-term carers, which it defined as caring for more than 20 years, should be given access to the state pension contributory by having retrospective contributions paid for them by the Exchequer for any gaps in their contribution history arising from caring. The measures contained in this bill are to implement this recommendation. In formulating its recommendations, the Commission sought the views of recognised experts and representative groups by inviting presentations and submissions. In this regard, Family Carers Ireland and the National Women's Council of Ireland made presentations to the Commission on this particular issue of improving access to state pensions for long-term carers. As I said earlier, Family Carers Ireland strongly support the measures that I am taking. Regarding Amendment 14, in reaching its conclusions, the Pensions Commission recommended that the contribution would be exclusively for state pension contribution purposes. Full-time carers can currently access a number of supports from my department, including carers benefit based on social insurance record or carers allowance based on means, Both payments accrue accredited contributions which can confer entitlement to certain other social welfare schemes. In addition, other non-means tested payments available to full-time family carers include the annual carer support grant and the monthly domiciliary care allowance where relevant. Access to other social insurance payments is subject to the conditions attached to these payments. Where a carer meets these conditions, they will qualify. And I don't believe that further reports on carers and state pension provision is warranted at this time. However, I will say that for a person with less than 20 years caring, they may be entitled to avail of the home caring periods or the homemaker scheme, subject to existing qualification conditions of having 5/20 paid contributions. So we have those that are under 20 years, and this is to look after the ones that are over 20 years caring. We do cater for under 20 years. Once you've worked for 10 years, then you'll get you can get credits for the time that you spent at home up to 20 years. So can I just say that carers can also work 18.5 hours per week and receive the full carers allowance. And the means test last year I changed it, and from June next year I changed it again. I've increased the income limits and also the amount that you can have in savings. I've increased that up to 50,000, and I've increased the income limits for both a single and a couple in terms of, that's 2 years in a row I have increased it, and the capital disregard is 50,000. The domiciliary care allowance, which is not means tested, was increased by a further €10 per month in this budget. And as I said, so I think I've covered all of those issues that have been raised with me. I've also asked that, and I do fully recognise the important role that carers play in our society, and for that reason, the purpose of social protection is to provide people with a basic income. I cannot pay people for what they do. So there's a lot of work that they do, and I have asked that we set up an interdepartmental group to look at this whole issue of carers, because I know that the Department of Health has a role to play here as well, and there's other supports that maybe that are non-financial supports that we can improve the situation. As I said, I met with Family Carers Ireland, and they're very happy with this. I'm the first minister in 20 years to have done anything about the carers, and they're very pleased. And of course, there's more work to be done, but I think we have achieved quite a lot now to get this in here and to make sure that they get a pension, because God knows they deserve it. But I'll tell you what's better about this is, if you have been unsuccessful in the past in applying for a pension, you can now, after the 1st of January, once you can show that you have been caring, that you can apply for the pension. So say if you're past pension age, you didn't qualify, you can reapply now. And once you can show that you are providing that care, and I particularly think of mothers who are caring for a child with a long-term disability. The child passes on, they're gone. You know, they can't go back to work at that stage because they're at retirement age, and they're left with no income because of their partner's income. So it's something that I was very conscious of, and this will make a difference to them, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you.